I am in this phase that I hope lasts the rest of my life, that I'm actually going to decide is going to last the rest of my life, where all I want to do is make love. Hi, guys. Welcome to transmission number 3, the Neurointuitive Network. Thank you so much for listening, being with me. I don't take it for granted at all that there are people who loan me their eyes and their ears and give me some mental space to, share with them new perspectives, new thoughts. I think that is such a privilege and I'm so grateful. So thank you for that. Anyway, we are a little over halfway between the eclipses at this moment. They've been in Aries and Libra, and the Aries eclipse is coming up on Monday, I believe. But I just wanted to share with you, just how I've been changing. And it really isn't a change, it's more of a restoration. But as I said, I wake up in the morning right now, and the top concern, it's not even a concern. The first thing that really comes to my spirit, comes to my mind, is that I want to make love. And when I say I want to make love, I mean I want to make love through my being, through my actions, the old-fashioned way, all of the above. I want to make beautiful things that bring people joy and warm their hearts. And I want to create words that'll stir and help people experience more love in their lives. And it's always what I've done. I think sometimes people confuse me. Sometimes people get confused with me because I'm very fierce. Love is fierce to me. Love it's the most potent power that you can get your hands on, which is why it shouldn't be abused, and which is why it should be properly understood. Apologies if you hear me drinking. You know that I like to do these with my cup of coffee. But yeah, I just want to make love. Just nothing else matters to me at this time. Nothing. And when I've centered myself in love and passion, desire, joy, peace, external success has been a given because I'm experiencing internal success. So I want to talk about, I suppose, some of my story, because I think many of you will be able to recognize yourselves in this. So I was talking to a friend I made recently, and I have the strong suspicion that he's going to be a friend for life. I really do. There was just this deep recognition and deep comfort, and trusted him off the bat. And I'm a Scorpio rising and a Scorpio Chiron. So, for me, that's actually a lot. Right. But I prayed for him. I prayed for a healthy man with wisdom and an adventurous spirit. And I swear to God, it was like I printed a brochure. I swear to God, it's like I made a job listing and I hired for it. And that is a concept that we should get into, by the way. Hiring energetically. Because women do that. We all do it. But I think women have a special talent for it. And it's why we need to really be aware of our subconscious. Because again, as I was saying last time, the subconscious, it's where the creation comes from. So what you're seeing on the outside, there's some sort of correspondence with the inside, oftentimes, in your personal reality. I'm not talking about collective reality. I'm not talking about the world, even though you will see the world start to change as more of us individually start to change. Anyway, back to this story. Y'all know this is ADHD transmitting. back to the story. When I was younger, I have an Aquarius Venus for more context. I don't know if anybody knows what that means. I know a couple of you will. I have an Aquarius Venus. When I was younger, people would just fall in love with me. They'd just fall in love with me. And because of who I am and because of how I am, that love would sometimes sour, sometimes turn into competition, sometimes just, get kind of gnarly because I in myself had a disorganized attachment style. And we'll talk about a conclusion that I recently came to on that anyway. But, people would just fall in love with me. And because I had been chosen by these people, I would try to make myself fall in love with them. And if any of you have been in love, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. So I would play along till I couldn't anymore, or until they made it impossible for me not to. By I say make it impossible, I would start looking for the things that I disliked. Or I would be looking at their quote unquote potential to be more like the people I was actually supposed to be with, right? As opposed to who they really are, who they really were. And it would get to a point where, of course, because I'm pushing, I've taken the inventory and I see what you could be and I know what you could be and blah, 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 blah. And this could be great. This could be great if you would just do this could be great. The minute you started down that road, you are done for. Okay? The minute you see a person as a project rather than as someone to connect to as they are, and that's not saying you won't grow together, because any good relationship you grow and you take different roles and you learn different things and you hone different skills. Any good relationship will have you doing that. But if you can't take the person as they are, if you're already looking for reasons, if you're already taking inventory, which a lot of women do, that I know, because we're used to being able to perfect things. We just make things better. That's our thing. We make things better. We expand it. We multiply it. We whatever. So anyway, I would date these guys who, of course, were not actually the people that I wanted to be dating 9 times out of 10. They would fall for me, and I would convince myself that I love them back. I'm sorry, I just have to pause, but how ridiculous that is. Well, he's not X, Y, and Z, but he is A, B, and C, so... But of course, that's not what you actually desire. And you'll find a way to get what you actually desire, or at least get away from what it is that you don't. You're closer to what you actually desire when you parachute out of a relationship. So I would find these guys that I could parachute out of the relationship with. That was the mechanism that I used to affirm my desire. Like, if I just always knew there was a person out there for me. There are probably several people, but I just always knew there was a person out there for me, and it wouldn't feel like what I was experiencing, right? Which is a classic. It's true, but it's also a classic avoidant attachment style thing where, you're just waiting for the one. Just waiting for the one. And there is a one for you 9 times out of 10. You won't recognize them, though, if you're just waiting for the one. And doing it with, like, if you're, using people as placeholders, if you are trying to turn somebody else into that person. That's just not how it works. So anyway, when I say I want to wake up and I want to make love, I want to act in a way that's loving. I want to be in a way that is loving. And it is not loving to meet someone, take inventory, find them wanting, and see how you can improve. It's also never going to serve you to believe in someone, quote unquote, more than they believe in themselves. That's another pitfall. Because here's the thing. And this is why what I do is so critical. I really believe that. It is all about set points. It's all about set points. Some people call those upper limits. That's a Gay Hendricks term. All about set points. We have a level of tolerance for every single thing that's on the earth. We have a level of tolerance. Some levels of tolerance we haven't discovered yet because we haven't encountered the thing. But there is a level of tolerance for every single thing on this earth, right? No new matter is being created. No new energy is being created. Everything that we have in us is everything that we need, right? So when we're walking on this earth, again, everything is having a correspondence. Everything's having a correspondence from what we're seeing to who we are. So we have a set point for everything in this world. We have set points for our level of discomfort. We have set points for our levels of success. We have set points for intangibles. We have set points for tangibles like money. Everyone has a set point for money. I realize that mine fluctuates a lot because in human design, I have an undefined root, but mine fluctuates a lot because it's really just according to my needs. And realizing that was like a big moment for me. It's really just according to my needs. I also have need motivation in human design. What I care about is the provision for me. Like, as long as my needs and my desires are accounted for, I'm good. It's not actually a number for me. I'm letting that settle because I feel like that's going to resonate with some people. Because sometimes we're trying to set points. And it's like, according to what we need at the time. And people are wondering, why can't I hold a set point? My set point keeps slipping back down. Like, it may be worth evaluating if that may have something to do with your motivation, may have something to do with your root, your spleen even, because spleen is safety. But anyway, that whole idea that you know what success really looks like for another person without their invitation or without really intimate knowledge of them, and just without actually taking them into account, because a lot of women come in, and I'm speaking about women because I am a woman. Don't worry, I have smoke for men too. No, I really don't. They're not really in the center of my universe. But I have critiques. I have analysis. I can share. I probably will share one day, but today I want to talk to women. And in particular, I want to talk to some of my clients because I've seen this. I've been doing this a while. I've seen this, right? You see a man and he's got all these skills and he's got all the raw material and he hasn't made something that you would identify as something out of it, right? And I get that. I get that. I get that. Especially when men have particular privileges and it's just like, well, what did you do? Because I've been fighting uphill and I did something. This is on a platter for you. What did you do? Right? You can't actually dictate what success is for another person because you don't have their set of set points and they haven't invited you to give them an analysis from your set of set points. I get paid to give that sort of analysis, which has actually been a very good lesson in life because it means I don't really do it I don't do it in casual life. Like I'm not walking around judging like people's levels of success. They could do so much better. And it's like, well, what's better to them? You don't know. You don't know. So anyway, I wake up and I want to be more loving. And love is fierce. Love is really fierce. Sometimes the way that I will ask a question feels combative because it's confrontational. And confrontation, the word comes from turning to face in Latin. It's confrontare, basically. It's turning to face, right? So it's just looking a thing in the eye, really. It's just looking a thing in the eye. And when you have become accustomed to lying to yourself, or when you have become accustomed to accepting less, when you have become accustomed to not being loving to yourself, gets gnarly. It gets gnarly. I'm a person who practices a really high degree of confrontation because, of course, I want to look at me. Who else is there to look at? Aries, Libra axis. I have a Libra Mars. Of course, I want to look at me. And I had to learn that because I'm not going to lie. People pleasing comes a lot easier. You don't have to think as hard. At least think for yourself as hard. You will be overthinking every single interaction, but people are going to be giving you cues. You're going to be fed lines, right? You're going to be running someone else's script. People are going to be giving you cues. Oh, well, he held his body a certain way when I said that, so maybe I won't say it that. Maybe I won't say that again, even though it really matters to me. Now, if you've experienced trauma, which again, most women have, most adult humans have. What do they say? No one makes it out alive. It's true. We know this. But no one makes it through necessarily unscathed. What you have, though, is an equation. And the equation includes protective factors versus insult. And that equals the outcome, right? So a protective factor would be you being raised in a home where you didn't witness people pleasing, where people didn't celebrate that, where that was discouraged, where being yourself was encouraged. That would be a strong protective factor. However, there's conditioning that you get outside. You go to school. Now we have the internet, very interconnected. There's conditioning, and it's everywhere. And ultimately, you have to turn to face yourself and decide where your set points are, decide how you're going to be, decide if you're going to act from love, decide if you're going to act from fear, decide if you're going to people please, decide if you are going to be yourself or some facsimile of another person. Like, you get to decide. So anyway, I see confrontation as love in action. I do. And I think love is pretty useless if it's not in action as well. It gets to be, and it also gets to act. It gets to be and it gets to do. All of these facilitator type energies, they're really something that you need to define your relationship with. You need to define the terms. You need to set the power dynamic. You need to set the tone, as I say. It is really, really up to you. So when I wake up in the morning and I say I want to make love, okay, I set my intention for the day. And I just ask how, different periods of the day. And again, I do have ADHD. So sometimes my cue to check in is feeling at a loose end. And sometimes, that's a great Springsteen song, by the way. Feeling at a loose end. And that is my cue to return to my intention and to ask, well, what would be aligned with this? And again, sometimes they're going to tell you to take a nap. Sometimes they're going to tell you, go take a walk. Sometimes you're going to get a blueprint for a whole project. Sometimes you're going to get, oh, call someone. Sometimes you're going to get, okay, well, if you have the opportunity to be kind, go and do it. But this kind of concept, it really does inform the way that I move through the world. I went on a walk yesterday, and I've been away from my house for a while. Well, I've been at my other house. That sounds so, but I went back to the East Coast for a little bit, and then I came back to the West Coast. So I hadn't been in my neighborhood for a while. And, I was just doing my little walk, and I was just greeting people. And I know people think it sounds kooky, but I generally get a good reception. I think because I'm in a very, very grounded energy, there's really not fear. But, I just greet people. You don't have to respond. I just greet you like I see you. And you can tell when that's safe to do as well. Like your intuition will tell you. Like maybe don't open up this conversation. So maybe just be. But, I was walking through my neighborhood. I was greeting people. I saw some people. There are a couple institutions near me. And I just saw some of the guards. I saw one of the guards that I've met before. Had a little chat. I complimented people. Again, because I just set the intention. And all of this was just flowing. It was just flowing. I said what came to mind. I felt what came to my body. Even my path was determined, not by my mind, but by my body. And really honed under the watchful eye of this intention. So, listen, I just really encourage you to find your intention. It may change. You may be in a transition. I was in a transition up until very recently. I'm just like very surrendered. Very surrendered. And I was talking to that new friend I told you about. And I said, well, I think I'm in the process of undoing. Oh, brings me back to the original point. ADHD. I feel like I'm in the process of undoing. Right? And he said, well, why the process? Just be. And I've definitely been that person for other people before, but it's sometimes I don't get that reflected back to me. I have more recently, like over the last couple of years, I've met some, incredible soul family type friends, who are, I should say family. I've met some incredible family. But he just reflected that really back to me really quickly. He's a projector. I'm a 5-1 generator. He is a 1-3 projector. He reflected that back to me really quickly. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. And he's like 1-3 and he's older. So he's really done his adventuring. He's not done, but he's done a lot of his, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to experiment. I'm going to research. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to research. I'm going to experiment. So he's got, the ability to exchange the wisdom, to transmit his wisdom. And it's exactly what I prayed for. So again, so grateful. Back to the original point again. What I was saying is that I took myself out of the game because I realized I was doing this pattern where, again, these people were falling in love with me. And it's not that every ex that I had was bad. Most of them are really quite lovely people. Most of them are great guys. And a handful of great women, but I just wasn't available. So I took myself out of the game, which, contrarily, it's like, you're even less available. But, but I just wasn't available for it, right? And I needed to figure out why. I needed to figure out why, right? So when I figured out why, I started thinking my way through it, which is classic one line. I'm figuring my way out. I need to research. I need to know everything about, so I got really heavy into attachment styles at one point. I don't know if some of you all might remember that. Some of y'all have been with me a long time. I got really into attachment styles. And I was like, okay, got this down to a science. But the point isn't just the thinking, it's the feeling, it's the being, right? So I really took myself out of the game, and I think I felt like I accidentally put myself out of reach. Because I would keep, first it was absolutely not. Then it was out of the game. Then it was close but no cigar, right? So then I had to realize what part of me was still, where was I still holding myself apart? Where was I still holding back pieces of myself? What was still hiding? Where was I still kind of slow rolling who I am? And yeah, I got my answers. But I felt the unleashing, I would say probably last year. The full unleashing. Really started getting into process, heavy process last year. And it made sense because, the nodes were first house and seventh house for me. Then it became, right now, sixth house and 12th house. So it was just the actual embodiment, the actual practice, whatever last clean outs were needed. I just had to go through it. And I learned to communicate through the process. And be available in that way. Actually, I'm confused about this. Actually, I don't know this. Actually, this is a skill that I want to learn. Because I didn't know how to actually communicate with men respectfully. Hmm. That's going to take us down another rabbit hole, which we can go down another time. But essentially, I just kind of noticed an underlying, well, I'm not going to take you that seriously, right? And that I'm not going to take you that seriously allowed me to hold parts of myself in reserve. I held myself apart, right? And when you do that, you can't really wonder why you're not getting what it is that you truly desire. Of course, you're not getting what it is that you truly desire. You're still really restrained. You're restrictive. And the thing is, you're restricting yourself. You can't even blame anyone else. You're restricting yourself. You put the clamp down on you. So, high degree of honesty, high degree of confrontation needed, high degree of communication, high degree of talking it out, some of my closest, high degree of love and grace for myself, high degree of love and grace for the people who taught me how to relate. Just high degree of love. So, guess what I'm asking is, through these eclipses with their themes of relating, with their themes of self versus self in relation to the other, their themes of context with their themes of justice, what's fair, the themes of what can I do, the themes of where am I neglecting my power, where am I exercising my power, all of those themes. What's your intention? This is a crucible, so how do you want to come out? How do you want to come out? If you feel like you're being tested, you are. And the thing is, nobody's going to be able to tell you the right answer. It's going to be you confronting, you being loving with yourself. Yeah. How do you want to come out? What's the intention here? Personally, I just want to make love. Okay, y'all. Thank you for listening to my meandering brain and to my soul, to whatever was being channeled. And I thank my benevolent guides, thank all of my ancestors, especially my benevolent ancestors, for bringing me to this moment of life. And I thank the world. I thank each of you. I thank love. And I'll talk to you soon. And let me know actually, if you have any questions. Just leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer because I'm available for you. All right. Love you guys. Bye.